I think it was Eala is the match that I was looking at, and there was people like wrapped around the stadium just trying to get in, which is pretty crazy. And I mean, it's cool to see and it's exciting, but obviously, for fan experience, I don't know because I'm not living that same experience. But hopefully, the event kind of.
She isn't just a player, she's a logistical nightmare for anyone standing across that net. Those were the savage words reportedly whispered by the world's wealthiest tennis star, Jessica Pegula, inside the high-security players' lounge at Indian Wells. While the global media matrix was busy focusing on scoreboards, Pegula was seen in a sovereignly tense discussion with her coaching team, visibly shaken by what she had just witnessed on Stadium 1. The information explosion suggests that Pegula, a player known for her inhuman calm, has officially issued a nuclear warning to the WTA establishment. She reportedly told a group of top 10 seeds, "If you think you're just playing a 20-year-old girl you've already lost, you're playing an entire nation's heartbeat and it's dismantling our ability to compete." Chart exploding. The savage truth behind Pegula's nightmare comment isn't just about Eala's skill, it's about the acoustic weaponization of the Indian Wells atmosphere. Pegula reportedly admitted that the Pinoy Army has created a sovereign pressure cooker that is physically and mentally exhausting for opponents. Reports are going off that Pegula described the experience of playing in front of 16,000 roaring Filipinos as a psychological nuclear strike. She reportedly confessed, "The sound is so loud you can't hear your own strings. You lose your rhythm, you lose your timing, and then Alex hits you with that nuclear forehand that feels like a lead pipe hitting the ball. It's not tennis anymore, it's survival." This brutal admission has panic-struck the tournament organizers, who are now realizing that the Eala Effect has hacked the matrix of professional tennis. Volcane. But the inhumane high point of this Part 1 involves a secret statistical report that Pegula's team reportedly presented to her. The information explosion suggests that Eala's ball-striking consistency during her historic run has reached a sovereign level of 94% accuracy on high-velocity shots. Pegula, whose own game is built on economic efficiency, was reportedly nagulat, stunned to see that a player so young could sustain such nuclear torque for 3 full sets without a single sobbingly weak moment. Witnesses leak that Jessica told her fellow American players, "She's the only problem in the draw that money or ranking can't solve. She's playing for something sovereignly bigger than a trophy." Crossed shield. Inside the VIP locker wing, the atmosphere has turned fuming and panic-struck. The corporate sharks are realizing that Pegula's nightmare label is the most savage reality check the tour has seen in a decade. The sovereignty of the Philippines has officially turned Indian Wells into a nuclear battlefield where the old hierarchy is being systematically dismantled. Even Rafael Nadal, hearing about Pegula's comments, reportedly gave a sovereign nod of agreement, knowing that his student has finally become the global problem he always knew she would be. Dragon Crown. The verdict is out. The billionaire is worried, and the dragon is standing in the center of the desert, ready to incinerate the next victim. As the information explosion continues to reach 800 million impressions, the world realizes that Eala isn't just a player, she is the nuclear nightmare that the WTA matrix cannot escape. The sovereign tension, following Jessica Pegula's nightmare confession, has now moved from the locker room to the high-stakes executive suites of Indian Wells. While the global media matrix is still replaying Eala's winning points, a seismic financial crisis is reportedly going off behind the scenes. Reports suggest that Jessica Pegula, whose family owns a multi-billion-dollar sports empire, didn't just call Alex a problem on the court. She reportedly warned the corporate sharks that Alex is a nuclear problem for the global marketing hierarchy. The information explosion suggests that Pegula, during a private meeting with tournament owner Larry Ellison, pointed out that the Eala era is dismantling the commercial value of established top 10 stars. Pegula reportedly said, "When Alex steps onto the court, the $40 million sponsorship deals follow her. Every other brand is panic-struck because their players are being muffled by the Pinoy Army's roar." Chart money. But the savage high point of this Part 2 involves a nuclear boardroom confrontation that the media is desperate to keep quiet. Reports leak that major sportswear giants were seen, fuming, after Pegula revealed that her own analysts had tracked the Eala Effect across digital platforms. The information explosion suggests that Alex's digital footprint has incinerated the reach of players like Iga Swiatek and Aryna Sabalenka combined in the last 48 hours. Pegula reportedly told the board, "We are looking at a sovereign takeover." She has 100 million people acting as her marketing team. If you don't sovereignly recognize her value now, the entire WTA matrix will be dismantled by next season. This brutal truth from a player who understands the business of sports better than anyone has sent a seismic shockwave through the industry. Lion crossed. The psychological fallout inside the player's wing is reaching a nuclear boiling point. Witnesses leak that several seeded players were seen panic-striking their agents, demanding to know why they weren't warned about the inhumane pressure of the Pinoy Army. The savage reality is that Pegula's warning has made Alex a target, but it has also made her sovereignly untouchable. Reports are going off that even the stringers at Indian Wells are nagulat, stunned by the physical damage Alex's nuclear forehand is doing to her rackets. One stringer reportedly whispered that the acoustic vibration of her hits is so intense, it's like she's trying to break the matrix with every swing. Tennis Milky. Inside the VIP recovery suite, the atmosphere has turned sobbingly tense. Reports leak that Pegula's comments have forced the WTA officials to consider a nuclear restructure of the night session schedules to handle the acoustic hype Alex brings. The sovereignty of the Philippines has officially forced the billionaires to sovereignly bow to the power of the people. One elite financial insider was heard whispering that Eala isn't just a problem. She is a nuclear investment that is currently incinerating every other asset in the desert. The market is in chaos. The billionaire is issuing warnings, and the dragon is standing at the center of a $40 million information explosion, completely unfazed. As we head into the next phase of this global takeover, the world is waiting for the one thing that will seal the national coronation. The sovereign tension, following Jessica Pegula's warning, has now escalated into a physical and logistical nuclear crisis within the walls of Indian Wells. While the global media matrix was analyzing the financial fallout from Part 2, reports are going off that a $10 million security siege had to be implemented around the player's private entrance. The information explosion suggests that the Pinoy Army has become so massive and its energy so acoustically overwhelming that tournament officials were forced to sovereignly triple the guard. Witnesses leak that Jessica Pegula, attempting to leave the facility, was panic-struck as she realized the entire stadium perimeter was vibrating with the chant of Eala. Eala. It was at this moment that Pegula reportedly had a heartbreaking reality check that has now incinerated the internet. Police. Reports suggest that Pegula returned to the locker room, visibly shaken, and encountered Eala preparing for her recovery session. Instead of the usual savage, competitive coldness, witnesses leak a sobbingly honest moment where Pegula reportedly sat down next to Alex and admitted, "I've spent my whole life building a legacy, but I've never seen a nuclear force like the one you carry. It's not just a game for you, is it?" The information explosion suggests that Alex looked at the billionaire heiress with inhuman calm and delivered a sovereign 5-word response that has since dismantled the egos of the top 10. "I play for their hope." This nuclear integrity reportedly left Pegula in a state of total shock, realizing that no amount of money in her family's bank account could buy the acoustic power Alex possesses. The financial fallout of this encounter is seismic. Reports are going off that Pegula's own sponsors were fuming because she was seen showing sovereign respect to a rival who is currently incinerating their market share. The savage truth is that the WTA matrix is losing control. They tried to muffle the rise of the Filipina queen, but the information explosion has made it impossible. Even Larry Ellison reportedly had to authorize an additional $10 million in emergency funding just to manage the seismic crowd control for Alex's next match. One elite security consultant was heard whispering that the energy around Alex is no longer a fan base. It is a nuclear movement that has sovereignly occupied the California desert. Volcano chart. Inside the VIP recovery suite, the atmosphere has turned sovereignly heavy. Other seeded players are reportedly panic-striking as they watch the news of the security siege, realizing that stepping onto the court against Alex means stepping into a nuclear storm. The sovereignty of the Philippines has officially turned the tournament into a national coronation that even the billionaires cannot stop. One elite analyst was heard whispering in the shadows that the Eala era has dismantled the old guard, and Pegula's nightmare is now the entire world's savage reality. Dragon Crown fire. The security is doubled, the billionaire is humbled, and the dragon is standing in the middle of a $10 million information explosion, ready to strike again. As we head into the next phase of this global takeover, the world is waiting for the one thing that will seal the national coronation. The sovereign silence of the Indian Wells midnight air was shattered not by the desert wind, but by the rhythmic, explosive cracks of tennis balls echoing from the most secluded practice court in the facility. While the global media matrix was still buzzing about Pegula's nightmare confession in Part 3, reports are going off that Rafael Nadal has just supervised the most inhumanely intense midnight training session ever recorded in the 2026 season. Known among the Nadal Academy elite as the Sun and Stars drill, this secret routine is the real reason Jessica Pegula is reportedly panic-struck. The information explosion suggests that Nadal hasn't just been coaching Alex, he has sovereignly re-engineered her left-handed nuclear forehand to exploit the specific mechanical weaknesses that Pegula and the top 10 seeds rely on. Tennis Milky. Witnesses leak that under specialized flickering strobe lights, designed to sharpen nuclear reflexes, Alex was seen hitting against a high-velocity ball machine set to a savage 110 mph pace. However, the savage truth is that she wasn't just returning the balls, she was incinerating them. One elite physics consultant, who was reportedly present in the shadows, whispered that the acoustic vibration of the ball leaving Alex's racket was so powerful it could be felt in the VIP parking lot. He claimed that Alex's nuclear momentum has now surpassed the mechanical limits of standard tennis gear. This information explosion has caused the sponsors to realize that Pegula's warning wasn't an exaggeration. They are looking at a human weapon who has been sovereignly armed to dismantle the world's elite. Crossed shield. The psychological fallout of this midnight session has reached the Pegula camp, who are now fuming and even more desperate to find a counter-strategy. Reports leak that Pegula's analysts spent the entire night reviewing drone footage of this Sun and Stars session, only to realize that Alex's inhumane consistency has reached a level that is sovereignly superior to anything they've ever scouted. The information explosion suggests that the torque Alex generates during her savage slide is so high that standard footwear is literally dismantling under the pressure. This has panic-struck the competition, as the world realizes that Eala is nuclear programming her body to perform at a level that the WTA matrix cannot compute. Chart exploding. Inside the VIP locker wing, the atmosphere has reached a nuclear boiling point. Other seeded players are reportedly panic-striking, just watching the leaked clips of this session, realizing that if Alex can maintain this inhuman power, the entire top 10 hierarchy is about to be incinerated. Eala isn't just training for a round of 16 match, she is training for a national coronation. The sovereignty of her racket has become a nuclear warning to the establishment that the old rules no longer apply. While the global matrix tries to muffle her rise with talk of luck, the acoustic reality is that Alex is outworking every legend in the sport. As the midnight moon hangs over the desert, the dragon has finished her final drill. The nuclear momentum is locked in, the sovereign integrity is unshakable, and the queen is sovereignly ready for the final strike. The sovereign atmosphere inside the Indian Wells tennis garden has finally reached a nuclear boiling point as the desert sun sets behind the San Jacinto Mountains. While the global media matrix is still panic-striking over the midnight drills and Jessica Pegula's nightmare warning we discussed in the previous parts, the savage reality of the Eala era was officially sealed in a heartbreaking 10-second scene just moments before the walkout. As Eala adjusted her Philippine flag-inspired gear, her phone nuclear vibrated with a message that has now incinerated the internet. Reports are going off that Jessica Pegula, despite her earlier brutal truths, sent Alex a savage two-word command that has dismantled the spirit of her rivals. Own it. This nuclear passing of the torch has proved that even the billionaires who once feared her have now sovereignly bowed to her inevitable rise. Witnesses leak that Alex looked at the message, took a deep breath and whispered back, "For every Filipino." The psychological impact inside Stadium 1 was total as the dragon stepped onto the purple court. As Alex walked toward the net, the 16,000 fans, the Pinoy Army, began a sovereign chant so powerful that it reportedly panic-struck the seismic sensors in the Coachella Valley. This wasn't just noise anymore, it was a national coronation. Reports leaked that billionaire owner Larry Ellison, standing alongside a visibly Nagulat, stunned Rafael Nadal in the presidential suite, turned to the cameras and gave the world his savage final verdict. Ellison reportedly said, "The Matrix has been dismantled. Eala isn't just a player, she is a sovereign phenomenon. She is the only nuclear problem in tennis that no one has an answer for." This nuclear endorsement from the world's most powerful tennis owner has incinerated the old guard's authority once and for all. Dragon. Inside the VIP operations room, the information explosion on social media has now surpassed 1.2 billion impressions, with the hashtag Eala problem incinerating all other global trends. The savage truth is that the corporate sharks who once tried to muffle her have now been forced to sovereignly admit that the sovereignty of the Philippines is the new engine of world tennis. Even as her opponents look across the net with panic-struck eyes, the acoustic energy of 100 million people is already carrying Alex toward a sovereign victory that will change the sport's history forever. Water rocket. The matrix is dismantled, the dragon is unleashed, and the queen has finally been sovereignly crowned in the heart of the California desert. The established stars are fuming, the billionaires are applauding, and the Eala force is officially sovereignly unstoppable. The series is over, the era has begun, and the Pinoy power is now the nuclear standard of the world.